again.
Hey, hey.
We also have one more session
Yeah,
for our Valued Impossible Friends community. They always come up with a few extra questions that they wanted to kind of grill you guys and give some more kind
sure.
of in-depth details. I think, of course, you guys already have been talking a little bit about the strategy around the users in different chain ecosystems. I think you also have this plan around, expanding into new ecosystems as well. And then some of these chains, like an Avalanche, would allow you to tap into some more institutional users. But in terms of regular users that might be trading more, I think you hinted at the degen user. How do you think that some more power users could be more active inside the Cruise ecosystem, and what types of programs might you have available for those types of users?
That's a good question. Yeah. I think by power users, do you mean those users who carry a lot of volume with them across the DeFi ecosystem?
Yeah, they might not be very large, maybe TVL themselves, but maybe they trade more frequently or they're more active in just seeing like, hey, maybe I want to trade like more than just 1 week, for example.
That's pretty cool. So our vaults are auto compounding the yields every week. So the great thing is, the bigger the volume is in our vaults, the more profits our market makers also make while executing these options for us. So the more base APY we generate on your volume, the bigger the base option is, and the more freedom we have to move the barriers and decide on how close do we want the barriers to be from the market price, the current market price at the time we buy the option. So obviously, the users who have a lot of volume TVL can benefit a lot from depositing into our ETH BTC vaults, because I think ETH BTC being the prime blue chip assets, they'll drive a lot more traction to our protocol if you deposit more assets here, because we'll be able to generate a heavy APY on this while also distributing the revenue that comes out of that vault to all the Cruise holders. I think also one last thing is, if these strong users, if they do participate in the IDO, we will be allowing users to deposit an LP token that they get by adding liquidity to our Cruise USDT vaults, liquidity vaults. And those LP tokens will actually help you benefit a lot more Cruise tokens. Uh, so you'll be staking those LP tokens into our vaults, and you'll get a chunk of the revenue and be a part of the program where you can actually make a lot more Cruise tokens on the way. So, yeah, that's one thing I'd like to
Very,
say.
very clear. That's super cool. I love the auto compounding there.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess the last one is a more general question. I think obviously you guys have a lot of tricks up your sleeve as well. I think you touched on obviously a few chains. For us, given that we're at Binance, we're very familiar with the guys that left WayZRX to build Shardium, as well as obviously still in good ties with the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem as well. But you've already touched on some of the other chains that you guys have been working hard to kind of grow. How would you guys see maybe sharing a little bit more about a plan of attack of which chains you'll kind of go with first? But I think one thing that it is, I think, pretty clear to me at least, is that you guys believe that there are opportunities that can be given to all users on all chains.
yeah,
And that this multi-chain strategy, I think, has been one of the reasons why we thought that you guys were quite, I would say, sharp and able to react to all the different things that are happening across all these chains. So maybe you could share a little bit more about that, as well as the insights around how you guys chose Ramses as one of these partners for the LPs, because we also believe that that is a pretty out of the box thinking in generating more yield for users that already take on some risk as LPs.
right. I think, to answer first part of the question, we do think the Avalanche's blockchain institution only blockchain network would be a really good target market for us, because we are hoping to build and attract an institution grade of users to our protocol. These institution users, they come with a lot more volume, and they understand how these exotic options work. So I think our next focus in terms of a specific blockchain would be Avalanche. especially their institution only blockchain. Um, we'll also be able to show up more we'll be able to show more credibility of the counterparties that are involved in the market making process to every user that is depositing into these institution vaults on our app. I think that's a really good feature that we'll have. um, the second part of the question, I think Ramses, we they are building a V3, VE3 version of the DEX, and so is Kronos. So I do believe that the reward system is pretty unique. They're trying to bring up something that's been, uh, I don't know, I think I would say dormant for many years, but now it's being picked up a lot. It's not really just a general DEX. It's a pretty unique system of how they're generating rewards. Uh, and the more volatile pools open up on these types of dexes, Kronos, Ramses, I think more impermanent loss is going to affect users. Even if the reward system is pretty good, the impermanent loss will sort of hurt the users and drive TVL from one dex to another. And I think that is what we see. If you track TVLs across dexes, they move from one platform to another. One loses TVL, the other one gains it, the other one loses it, third one gains it. This happens a lot, I think, and it's one of the reasons because a heavier reward system does attract a user audience to specific decks. But at the end, when dexes they keep running at a huge volume, they do the reward system does improve, but the impermanent loss does take over soon. So we do hope that our exotic option strategies will help those LP providers, liquidity providers on all these pools, on Ramses and Kronos, to deposit their LP tokens into our vaults and get an additional APY, realistic APY, either in ETH or BTC. So which is that's the coolest part, right? Because real yield in ETH and BTC is completely scarce across DeFi, and a real yield. And by that I mean, even if you look at 5, 6%, 7% ETH, APY on ETH or WBTC, that's like near impossible. I think for WBTC you can't even see any APY above 0.5% on a DeFi protocol, and the main reason is because the utilization rates of these assets across DeFi is pretty low. So with our exotic option strategies, we are able to push that APY up to a stable rate of 7 to 8 on ETH and BTC. So these liquidity providers on these pools will be able to will be able to benefit a lot of the real APY, which could make up for a lot of their impermanent loss. So I think that's one of the reasons why we went with Ramses, because they were building a unique DEX. And from Ramses, we are hoping to obviously expand into and extend this service to more dexes. Hoping Kronos might be the next. Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I think our community is very familiar with both
Yep.
Cronus and also with Thena and these other players that, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, have brought some kind of new energy towards a lot of these old DeFi primitives, given that
Yeah.
I think the solidly forks, they actually
Yeah.
have, I think, done a very good job on execution on their respective chains and built
Yeah.
a level of community and liquidity. But like you said, impermanent loss is still a significant risk that users face when providing liquidity on all of these platforms, and that we do see a lot of power in what you guys are doing in helping make that opportunity safer for all users. So yeah,
Thanks.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of cool stuff. I'm pretty excited about you guys coming live soon. So I think for all users, just as a friendly reminder, always feel free to check out their product at cruize.finance. And then if you haven't yet staked for the Launchpad allocation, please do so at app.impossible.finance/explore. Thank you so much again, Prithviraj, for all the time that you shared all these things, and excited to see all the great things that we'll be doing during this staking campaign. Good luck on everything. And I know it's been a lot of a journey in building a lot of late nights, but really appreciate your
Yeah.
guys' constant communication and support as we've been planning out this launch.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.